I-31F found a STi and HIV prescriptions for my husband 38M. Our cat got sick recently. I thought the box that was clearly labeled with prescriptions could be our cat's medication, so I opened it. Instead, when I opened the box, I found 2 prescriptions labeled under my husband's name. I wouldn't have thought anything of it, but one of the prescriptions said to take after sex. We had recently been talking about fertility, and I was wondering if it had something to do with that. And I was mortified to find out it was essentially preventative meds for STIs and HIV. When I confronted him about this, he claims to have no idea where they came from, nor that he ordered them. But when I asked him to call the pharmacy to see if it was insurance fraud, he didn't seem too bothered to investigate. I feel like he's cheating. I have no STIs or HIV. We've known each other for 15 years, so I feel like I'd know if he had either two. Any thoughts? The medications I found were Descovy and doxycycline. You found prescriptions for HIV PrEP and an antibiotic that can treat STI with his name on the bottle, and he denies it. Who else would it have been? He must think you're stupid. The proof is literally in writing on the bottle. Don't be naive. Triangular flag. Is his name on the prescription bottle? If so, that means 2 things. 1, a doctor prescribed him this based on a discussion with him that he revealed he engages in risky sex and is at risk for HIV transmission. 2, he filled the prescription because he intended on engaging in behavior that puts him at risk for acquiring HIV. If some of the pills are missing, that also means 3, he has engaged in sexual behavior that puts him at risk for acquiring HIV. Explain insurance fraud that has someone putting medication in your home. You found the unprotected gay sex starter kit. HIV PrEP, as far as I know, is not something you take unless you know you might expose yourself to HIV, and there's literally his name on the bottle. Don't let him treat you so disrespectfully. Get yourself checked out. My partner 42M smothered and strangled me 34F a month after we got married. A month after we got married, my husband 42M attacked me 34F smothered and strangled me one evening when we were out of state. He had said he needed help on a landscaping job, so I went with him since he was struggling. His client there had invited us to dinner at his home there. During dinner, his client started pouring me very large drinks and small ones for himself and husband. To be polite, I was drinking with them, trying to be easygoing, and it led to my husband and I getting intoxicated there. I was appropriate the whole evening and stayed by my husband the whole time there. His client was being very friendly with me, but not inappropriate. When we left, we got in my husband's truck, and he was furious with me while he was driving. He said I was acting like a whore in there and called me several more names. I started crying and cursed at him, saying I wasn't a whore. While I was saying these things, he secretly started videoing me on his phone. When we got to the hotel, he aggressively picked me up by my pants and carried me inside the room. He then attacked me, hitting me repeatedly and throwing me to the ground. I cursed at him again, but never touched him or fought back. He then took me to the bed and smothered me so that I couldn't cry or scream. More words were said, and he then strangled me and said if I ever accuse him of cheating again that he would end me. While he was strangling me, he told me to nod my head once for yes, or 2 for no if I understood him. I mouthed the words yes since I couldn't move my head and needed him to let go so I could get oxygen. I was afraid, so I turned over and shut my eyes, hoping he would stop hurting me. In the morning, I had no top on and my pants were gone. I had broken blood vessels under my eyes from being strangled, bruising on my nose from him smothering me, sore throat, and bruising all over my body. He had taken my phone from me that night, so I didn't have it in the morning. I was too afraid to leave because he had guns with him and was still angry in the morning and said I was inappropriate with client, and he had videoed me drunk crying and cursing at him in the truck. For my safety, I pretended not to remember the evening. After I said I didn't remember, he then changed his attitude, saying he thought client drugged him and me. I let one day go by, and because of my injuries, I knew I needed to go home. I told him I wanted to go home, and he got me a plane ticket, but on the way to airport, he threatened to kill himself and had his gun. So I stayed there many more days with him until we drove back to our state. I have no money or resources on my own, so I knew I needed time to figure out a plan to leave. I couldn't leave for 2 months and just recently was able to leave and am in hiding now. I sent him a goodbye text and not to contact me or my family. He has endless money for court and very vengeful, and I know he will twist the story, and he's very smart in getting away things. I need a divorce and have been told to get restraining and protective order, but I know he will harm me or my family if I say anything about the incident. He has many guns, and after marriage he became obsessed with violence, and said in the past he has a history of it with no remorse. Does anyone have any suggestions on what I could do? I would love to just annul the marriage or something simple, so that he doesn't turn it into a huge court battle, as I don't have the money, but I don't even feel safe to go to my home, and it's been about 2 weeks since I left. Too long did not read. You need to contact the police and tell them all of this. Please know that your risk of being killed by this person is astronomical after being strangled by him. The most dangerous time is when you try to leave. Contact a domestic violence shelter, and do not let him even have a hint about where you are. Please take care of yourself. If in the U.S., call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233 or text START to 88788. They provide free, confidential support 24/7 and can connect you with local resources. I'm so sorry you're going through this. Document everything you can and stay safe. This man is clearly a danger to those around him. There are services that can help with relocation, legal matters, emergency housing, etc. You're not alone, and there are people who specialize in helping victims just like you. Did you take pictures of your injuries? You should have had him arrested. But hindsight is 20/20. Don't worry about his money. You are a victim of domestic violence. You said you are in hiding. I hope it's in a shelter where they can protect you. Don't try to divorce yet. You need to be safe first. Leave title is the only thing I had to read to conclude that leave. Read the rest. Contact a lawyer to get legal advice. Walk to a police station or hospital. See if a neighbor will take you if it's too far. Press charges. File for divorce. Moving in together was such a huge mistake. F27M26. My boyfriend and I have been together about 5 years and living together for 2. In the beginning, we were inseparable, but since moving in, I honestly feel like it was a mistake. The first year was constant fighting. Almost every disagreement came down to him wanting me to do things exactly the way he grew up doing them, instead of us figuring out our own rhythm for our home. I thought things might improve with time, but during the second year I've started noticing these episodes or outbursts from him. They come out of nowhere, often after he wakes up from a nap in a bad mood, and it feels like they're not going away. For example, today. I worked all day while he's on annual leave. He had suggested pasta, which I don't even like, and sent me a picture as inspo. He was supposed to cook while I went out to pick something up, a parcel he forgot. But instead I came home to him napping with nothing started. I decided to just make the meal myself. About 3/4 of the way through, he wakes up and starts nitpicking, asking me to open the window that was right next to him, questioning why I never closed doors. I'd only left the living room door open for airflow, pointing out how I usually don't turn on the cooker hood. This time I had, and criticizing me because what I was making looked different from the photo, even though he never gave me a recipe. I explained what I was doing, but he told me the pasta wasn't supposed to have sauce at all. Since I'd already bought extra ingredients and tried to make it decent, I just portioned out my version and left him plain pasta and sausage to do what he wanted. By this point I was frustrated, so I ate in the bedroom while watching something on my laptop. Then, as I'm eating, he says, "Can I ask you a question?" and tells me the bathroom bin is full and disgusting, and that he left it like that on purpose to see if I'd clean it. He accused me of never taking out bins or pulling my weight in the house. Mind you, it's just finished toilet rolls and facial cotton toner pads, nothing like unmentionable. When I pushed back, reminding him I do dishes, laundry, and deep cleaning regularly, he doubled down and said he does everything. This is the same guy who leaves dirty cups everywhere, beard hair in the sink, toothpaste stains on the mirror, which I quietly clean without making a scene. The bin he's referring to hadn't been emptied because I'd been traveling, and he had supposedly cleaned the bathroom last, though really, he only mopped it. It feels like he twists things to make me look like I don't contribute. This isn't a one-off. Every few months he has these bursts where he nitpicks me, accuses me of being lazy, or says he's testing me to see if I'll notice things. I end up feeling like a child being scolded instead of an equal partner. Meanwhile, he completely dismisses the messes he leaves for me to quietly handle. I'll admit I'm not perfect and sometimes let small things slide, but I definitely don't leave him to do everything. It's gotten to the point where I feel like I'm walking on eggshells, waiting for the next outburst. So I guess my question is this just the normal stress of cohabitation that I should learn to handle better, Or are these red flags that he's being controlling/manipulative? You're only 27. Don't waste any more of your time with someone like that. It wouldn't get any better. This isn't normal cohabitation stress. Testing you, constant nitpicking, and gaslighting your efforts are big red flags. You're not crazy, he's being controlling. He's not going to change. You're seeing him at his most real. Do you want to spend the next 45 years living with this? I don't even believe cohabitation stress is a thing. Sure, there is an adjustment period at first, but your partner should be someone that makes your life better, who you look forward to coming home to. We date people to find out if we are compatible. Maybe you're beginning to realize that you two are not. This is why people move in together before they get married, to find out if they're a nightmare to live with before you get legally tied to them. Now you know, so you can break up and find someone else. You don't have to live like this Opie. He sounds terrible. Testing you? Nah, choose peace. How am I, 27 female, supposed to get married to him, 29 male? So I was single for 5 years, and my parents introduced me to a guy, who is my parents' mutual friend's relative's son. We met 8 months ago. Arranged marriage settings. I asked him if we could date for at least 6 months before saying yes. He thought 6 months is a long time, but we had a really good first meet, so he agreed to it. We both are living in the same city, good jobs, stable careers. I found out we have some mutual friends, so I got to know more about it, and he seems like a genuine good guy. I am totally into him at this point. We had great chemistry over the last 6-7 months, and he proposed. I said yes. We decided to have a small party to celebrate. My friends have been with me through all the bad men I've dated in the past. So they, just to make sure I am not making a mistake, asked him some questions in front of me like, what was the first thing you noticed about her? What are the qualities that made you think she is the one? And some more totally valid questions. And he tried to answer. But he tried to answer. Not enthusiastic about it. The vibe got so weird so suddenly. My friends were also weirded out because of how he behaved. All answers were pretty much about how I have a stable job and good enough finances and a decent face and good clothing sense. Very superficial. And I answered the same questions, but I definitely knew more about him than the superficial stuff. His habits, his moods, his favorite sports, his things. Him in general. It was such a turn-off for me. I was excited for the party. For the proposal. For the future. I am not expecting him to know everything about me, but you are planning to marry me. At least have good enough reasons to why you intend on marrying someone. I think that's a valid ask. I told my parents about this, and they think that we both are on good terms, and the relationship evolves after marriage. Like? For some it does. But for some it doesn't. I don't want to hurry into a marriage. But since that party, I don't know if I even want this marriage. I am feeling very detached. He has been trying to get to know me better, paying more attention to details. Visiting my parents more, talking to them about my childhood and stuff. But if it is to get to know me better, or to do damage control, and keep a good rapport with my parents. Am I thinking too much about this? 6 months is literally no time. I had a nice boyfriend, who showed no red flags until he punched me in the face and strangled me just over a year into our relationship. It takes a long time to get to know someone. So basically, he was interrogated by your friends in front of you, and you're surprised he gave superficial answers. That's not the kind of situation where people open their hearts. I mean, I'd have given evasive answers, which would have said nothing about how I feel about husband, and a lot about how I feel about the situation. Ask him privately if he has more intimate answers to these questions. I would hate to answer this kinds of questions about my partner in public. Gak. I would give very superficial answers. I'm not going to be vulnerable on command. I'm sorry, the questions asked in front of everyone were awkward. It feels unfair to put him on the spot after 6 months. But the real issue is it's been very clear from the start that the two of you have different notions of an arranged marriage. He's trying to get married, and a sensible match was made. You're trying to build a relationship that it doesn't seem like he needs in order to get married, or probably even wants. You're dating him, he's prepping for marriage. Those aren't the same thing. It takes a lot of time to really know a person, so I think the so-called superficial answers are valid and should be expected if the relationship is arranged with the intention of being married soon. I was attracted to my partner with similar reasons, at first pretty and fit with good career. Almost 4 years together, now I still love those things about her, but with a lot more great things about her that I didn't know in the first year or two. I also think I wouldn't have been answered comfortably if I was being interrogated by my partner's friend. It shouldn't be a turnoff in my opinion. Your friends ask questions to make him squirm? If this is an arranged marriage, your main concern should be he's a dependable, decent person with integrity, rather than someone who fawns over you.